You have been told that if you just had more time, you'd finally get your life together. But let me ask you something. Have you ever had a full free day and still got nothing done? Because the truth is, time does not equal productivity. You can sit in front of a screen for 8 hours and still walk away empty-handed. Not because you were lazy, but because you were distracted, unclear, or doing 100 things halfway. Think about it. The most successful people on this planet have the same 24 hours. They do not create more time. They use time differently. Most people measure their day by how long they worked. Successful people measure their day by what actually moved the needle. You do not need 16-hour workdays. You need 2 hours of deep, distraction-free execution on the right task. Because productivity is not about more time. It is about more focus during the time you already have now. But here is where it gets dangerous. Most people confuse motion with progress. They check emails, jump on calls, multitask, switch tabs every 3 minutes. They feel productive, but they are just spinning their wheels. You probably know someone who is always busy, but never seems to accomplish anything meaningful. They are in meetings all day, checking emails every 5 minutes, jumping from task to task. They feel productive because they are moving, but they are just burning time without creating results. Meanwhile, there is that person who seems to get more done in 4 hours than most people do in 10. What is their secret? They understand that activity is not achievement. Real results come from concentrated effort, not scattered activity. When you focus, truly focus, you take an ordinary task and make it powerful. You write one great email that lands a client. You make one clear decision that changes your entire week. You have 1 hour of execution that puts you ahead of people who have been busy all month. But the dangerous trap is measuring success by hours worked instead of results created. Time is just the container, but what you put inside that container determines everything. But here is what turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Focus is not just a skill, it is an amplifier. If your attention is split between 10 things, you give each one 10% of your power. But when you lock in, even for 90 minutes, you give one goal 100% of your potential. That is when results compound. Think of focus like a magnifying glass in sunlight. Scattered light does nothing, but when you concentrate those same rays through a lens, they can start a fire. Your effort works the same way. And scattered across multiple tasks, it is weak, but concentrated on one important goal, it becomes unstoppable. Focus separates activity from achievement. Want to make more money? Get healthier? Fix your relationships? You do not need 10 times more time. You need 10 times more focus on what actually matters, because focus amplifies effort, multiplies results, and exposes what is truly essential. Most people are being attacked every second, and they do not even realize it. Your phone buzzes, notifications pop up. Your mind jumps to the next task before finishing the current one. You are not lazy. You are under constant assault. Studies show it takes 23 minutes to fully refocus after a distraction. Just one notification can derail your entire power session. But why do we let this happen? Why do we choose distraction over focus? Al, the answer might surprise you. We do not waste time because we are lazy. We waste time because we are uncertain. Uncertain about what matters. Uncertain about what to do next. Uncertain if we are even good enough to begin, so we stall. We scroll. We snack. We open YouTube to just check something, and suddenly 3 hours are gone. Sound familiar? Here is the brutal truth. Wasting time is often a symptom of fear. Fear of failure. Fear of making the wrong move. Fear of being judged. So instead of acting with purpose, we escape into distractions that feel safe, but those small escapes, they come with a massive cost. Every hour you waste is not just time lost. It is momentum stolen. It is confidence delayed. It is progress postponed. And the worst part, we know we are doing it. And that guilt becomes a cycle. You waste time, then feel bad. So you waste more trying to feel better. Here is the turning point. Awareness kills avoidance. The moment you admit you are not confused, just scared, is the moment you take back control. And now the real question hits you hard. If you are wasting time, what exactly are you running from? But fear is not the only energy drain. There is something else stealing your power every single day. Ever notice how tired you feel when you are confused? Not physically tired, but mentally drained, even before the day begins. That is not burnout. That is lack of clarity. when your mind is juggling 20 unfinished thoughts, when your goals are blurry, when you do not know what the next step is. You are not just losing time, you are leaking energy. Clarity is power. When you are clear on what you want and why you want it, your brain stops wasting energy on indecision. You stop asking, should I do this or that? You just do. Think of clarity like a GPS. Without it, you are driving in circles, wasting gas, going nowhere. But with it, even a long journey feels purposeful. Every turn makes sense. Every mile fuels momentum. Clarity gives your actions direction, and direction creates drive. Most people are not unmotivated. They are just overwhelmed. They do not need more hustle. They need focus. And focus comes from knowing what actually matters. So here is the real question. Are you tired because you are doing too much? Or because you have not decided what is truly worth doing? And get clear, get moving, because clarity does not just guide your steps. It ignites them, but clarity means nothing without boundaries. And that is where most people fail. Success does not just come from what you say yes to. It comes from what you ruthlessly say no to. We are taught to chase productivity by adding more tools, more goals, more hacks. But real discipline, it is in subtraction. That is why you need a no list, a personal blacklist of the distractions, habits, people, and patterns you refuse to let steal your time and focus. Say no to endless scrolling. Say no to gossip-filled group chats. Say no to commitments that drain you but do not grow you. Say no to tasks that do not move the needle. Say no to urgency that is not aligned with importance. Because every yes you give something unimportant is a no to something that truly matters. Clarity is not just knowing your goals, it is defending them. And the no list is your shield. Think of it like mental budgeting. If your time is currency, where are you wasting it, Start small. Write down 5 things you will stop tolerating, even if they seem harmless. Because if you do not define your boundaries, the world will define them for you. And that is how dreams slowly die. Not from one big mistake, but from 1,000 quiet yeses to the wrong things. But even with clear boundaries, there is still a deeper problem that destroys most people. Burnout is not just about working too much. It is about working on the wrong thing for too long. You can grind 14 hours a day, but if it is for a job, goal, or life that does not align with who you are, now you will feel empty, not tired, hollow. That is the real cause of burnout. Misalignment between your actions and your purpose. You wake up, force yourself through tasks, hit deadlines, but deep down, a voice whispers, why am I even doing this? That is misalignment. The body can handle exhaustion. What it cannot handle is meaningless repetition. When your effort is not connected to something that fuels you emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, but your soul starts to quit before your body ever does. And the scariest part, most people do not recognize the signs. They treat burnout with coffee, vacations, or fake self-care, when what they really need is a course correction. You do not need to quit everything. You just need to realign. Ask yourself, is this still serving the person I am becoming? Is my grind still in service of my growth? Because when your vision and your effort are aligned, energy flows. But when they are not, burnout is inevitable. And here is the final truth that changes everything. Everyone thinks the answer is more tools, more courses, more routines. But that is the lie. You do not need more. You need less distractions, less noise, and less clutter between you and what matters. Because clarity does not come from adding, it comes from subtracting. Every tab you have open, every app pinging you, every maybe you have not said no to, they all chip away at your focus. And when focus dies, so does progress. High performers are not trying to do everything. They are obsessed with doing the right few things, not better than anyone else. They cut fast, they simplify, they say no without guilt. So, the people who look like they are doing 100 things, they are not. They have mastered the art of removing everything that does not matter. Discipline is less about grinding through more and more about eliminating what does not move the needle. Minimalism is not just for your closet. It is for your goals, your calendar, your energy. So stop chasing the next thing that promises results. Start trimming the fat. That is where growth begins, because you do not need more information. You need less in your way, but there is one final mistake that destroys all of this. Much you focus or how clear you get. 99% of high achievers fall into this trap without realizing. That is what we are exposing in our next video. But there is one hidden enemy that makes all these strategies worthless. One psychological trap that keeps you stuck no matter how. If you are ready to stop being busy and start being productive, drop the word focus in the comments right now and tell me, what is the one thing you are going to eliminate from your no list?
With focus, I am trying
because the moment you start subtracting instead of adding is the moment everything changes.